welcome to That Band Life. I'm Jeff Young.
And I'm Bobby Lambert, Director of Bands at Wando High School in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. That Band Life, a podcast about making our careers as music educators more fulfilling so we can be happier, healthier, more productive, and more creative.
Before we begin, I want to tell you about our Dynamic Marching Shop. This podcast is coming to you ad-free, and one way you can support us is by visiting our website, dynamicmarching.com, and sign up for some or all of our awesome courses and instructional videos. You can also purchase products through our store at some of the most discounted prices on the web on things like shoes, rifles, podiums, megavoxes, flagpoles, all that good stuff. I know that many times you continue to order your products from the same people every year, but if you look at our prices, you might change your mind. We even offer deeper discounts on large orders. So please give us a chance and check it out. Just go to dynamicmarching.com.
Well, we've got kind of a down and dirty, fast and furious video podcast for you this time. So if you're watching us, hello. If you're listening to us on our regular channels, hello to you as well. We wanted to reach out to you about a topic that's kind of hit Jeff and I personally in the last few months, and I bet it's hitting some of you. And it has to do with the way that we are approaching our jobs and the way that our colleagues are approaching us and we're approaching our colleagues.
Yeah, we're going to kind of, I guess, tentatively call this Managing Your Life. And we're going to do a quick podcast today. Both of us are on some deadlines today, like everyone is this time of year. And, you know, people say, aren't you glad marching band is over? It's so much better. And you're like, yeah,
No.
but in the spring, there's, you know, everything hits at once.
Instead of having one main schedule, you have five.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm sure a lot of you are dealing right now with concert band, with solo and ensemble, with chamber groups, with jazz band, with pep band. Am I forgetting like 10 other things? Texas directors are like, yeah, let me add to that list a little bit for you.
Right. Exactly.
All the all-state band auditions and all that.
Yeah. We actually have our all-region band next weekend, and then all-state is about 3 weeks after that. And then Concert Festival is the next week. All-State Jazz is in there. Jazz Festival is there. Spring concerts, graduation. Like everybody has an inordinate list. And I think what we're trying to say with this episode can be kind of summarized by this story. I was just telling Jeff, I've had different administrators over my career. Like, for example, I had one administrator that really refused having any of our own personal children in the building during like an early release or a work day or anything. And that made it really difficult for a lot of parents because, their kids were in school, which was out that day as well. And they didn't have any other kind of babysitting protocols in place. And it really sent a message of kind of holding people down and not paying attention to their livelihood or their families.
Yeah.
And whereas I can speak to now, I have a principal that is like, hey, if you can get more work done at home, caring for your family, stay home, do it there for the work days and things, of course. But I have to tell you, when he said that, I felt a tremendous shift in my perception of him. It made me say, okay, if we're starting here, then I trust him a lot more. I will go to bat for him a lot more. I will do these things for him in just that simple statement. And so I think what we're saying is making sure that you are understanding that life happens. And we're not even really talking for students right here, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking to fellow educators, are you giving them the same sort of grace that you would like to have? I think is an important thing to take away as well. This is a tough time of year for everyone in that band life. And building people up around you and, building people up in the sense of, how can I help you, or how can we help each other, or what are you struggling with? Do you need to talk about something instead of bottling things up? This is a good time of year to really reach out to those that you care about that are in the profession. I think there's a lot of, you ever feel like, Bobby, that the responsibilities that are at work are so great, the pressure is so great that you let things slide outside of work that you shouldn't?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's
a natural thing that shouldn't be that way. We should have the same sort of high standards for how we treat our loved ones and our families and our, outside of work responsibilities as well. But gosh, there's so much pressure to succeed and to check all the boxes at work.
I've openly told my colleagues and some of our band parents, like, there are too many plates spinning right now that I'm going to miss something. There were times, and I've got my lists, I've got my to-do list, I've got my tasks app through Google. Like those are rocking and rolling. But like literally, I was in the car today driving from our middle school to high school, and had someone call and say, "Hey, I need to change this appointment from here to here." Okay, I will do it, but will I remember to write it down when I get like it's just so many things are flying at us. And I think Jeff said it really, really well. Things slipping through the cracks. If we have anything slip through the crack in our program, we're devastated.
Yeah.
But if we let a date night go with our loved ones, if we let a dinner go that we had planned for, and I think that, and to tack on that, saying no is okay. And saying I can't do more than this. This is what it is. Or I need help. If you can say, I would love to have some help to figure out how we can do this together, but I alone, in the parameters that you have given me, cannot do what you are asking me to do. I was telling Jeff I had a situation with that earlier this week, and it was not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It was not. And I hate that it was not comfortable. It should have been.
Well, not to give away details of, personal things, but like it was other adults who are in the profession who had like expectations of what you could and would do that you weren't able to do, right?
Right.
This wasn't an administrator, it was like people that you're working with that you volunteered to do things with.
So then let's also turn that on the other side. Those of us that are doing some things really well and have people that maybe are reporting to us, like maybe you're the state chair for something or you're the region chair or whatever. I would just also ask that we approach that with the same kind of grace and humility as we would want somebody to approach it with us. I mean, we do have to get a job done. The thing that kills me is when I'm told, well, this is about the kids. You know what? Everything can't be about the kids. Like I get it, but like I still exist too. And my kids deserve the same kind of awareness to that too. So if that means that this paperwork is here, or this, we have to do this, we need to do this way to make it work. I don't understand why there's such a black and white of, nope, that's not right. We don't do that with music. That would be like saying, okay, your Lincolnshire Posy is all wrong. Now, some people do that.
They do.
Some people do that with that piece in particular, but there is that interpretation. And I always ask when teachers are coming to me talking about like I have to say no to this or I have to change plans or whatever, I'm like, go with a solution. If you have a solution that's viable and they turn that down too, well, I just call that stubborn,
So what are you going to do coming up in these next few weeks to help mitigate the problem, or to help alleviate the problem?
So I have a new app that I'm using that really is talking about mindfulness and making this go. And maybe if they sponsor us, we'll actually name them.
Oh, yeah.
On the
Headspace.
No, but I do have Headspace, thankfully,
Yeah.
because it's free to educators.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is good. I think it is very good. This has it's a little bit more robust. It has some focus timers. It has some morning meditations. It has some evening reflections. It has kind of like, what's the one thing you need to get done today? And then at the end of the day, it'll come back and ask you. So you would think that it was, okay, well, that's dumb. Of course I'm going to, for the last 2 nights, it's come up and I've been like, oh, crap.
Man.
I missed. And it's like, okay, I've got to start over and I've got to do that again tomorrow. It's just like anybody who's ever been on a diet or lifting weights or exercising. It doesn't matter what you don't do. Like, I took 3 days off. Okay, come back, start again.
Mm-hmm.
Same with people. Okay, they didn't quite get this part of the registration or this part of the collection done or whatever. So let's keep going, because at the end of the day, as we said in our promo video a little bit earlier, we really want teachers to stay in the profession, and administrators, I think, are figuring that out. But I don't know if we as directors toward our colleagues understanding that we can affect that in the exact same way.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of times in my position where, the faculty for camp, for example, these are all teachers from all over the country, and they all have different schedules and they all have different responsibilities. And there are definitely some times where I get frustrated and I need to remember they're really busy and they're trying to check all the boxes, but sometimes you just can't check them all. I'm very fortunate in my current position. I work from home mostly, and
Mm-hmm.
but I think back to when I was teaching full time, especially in the fall where I was teaching full time and had marching band every evening and every Saturday. Making an appointment for myself was impossible. There's no way I could have had a regular therapy appointment, or I'd be at the dentist and they'd be like, okay, let's make your 6 month from now appointment. And I'm like, no, let's not, because I
Yeah.
don't have any idea when my prep period is next semester. I don't know. I don't know any of that. So
Right.
it's tough. And we all have to be mindful of the other adults that we work with and that we support and that we care about.
It's okay to say no when you're doing your very best. It's also okay to forgive when somebody misses something. It's even better if you can come alongside someone and say, "Hey, I noticed that, you're kind of struggling with this. Let me help you through it."
Yeah.
As opposed to, "Well, so and so didn't get this done, and they never get this." Yeah, I get it. I do. Are they a good person and a good teacher? Okay. There's a dear friend of mine who is a wonderful middle school director. She is not in our cluster here, but she teaches close by. She is an amazing teacher. Every kid that comes out of her class can play their tail off and loves band, and that's an amazing accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
If she has to fill out paperwork for anything, it's probably not going to get done. And it's not that she's not lazy. It's not like when I look at her, I just see that's where her brain is so relationship oriented and so musically oriented that taking the time to count the number of students who are going on the field trip or whatever, that's not always in her wheelhouse. She has to really move things around to make that go. Okay, is she a terrible person? Should she be a lesser colleague to any of us? I think it's garbage to say yes, because then we would say only the certain kids in our band that really are bando commando are of worth to our band program. And we all
Absolutely.
know that's not true.
Absolutely. We told you this was going to be a short one. I think we're both interested. If any of you have short stories you'd like to tell about things that maybe have slipped through the cracks, or in ways that you need support, or we'd love to hear from you. Jeff at dynamicmarching.com and Bobby at dynamicmarching.com. And we won't talk about your name on the air, but we'd love to kind of share some of the stories of how struggles that you're going through, but also some of the ways that you've gotten through that.
Yeah. It's a challenging time for everyone. We're like, well, we're out of COVID. Everything's great now. COVID still lingers a little bit.
A little bit. Yep.
A little bit.
Yep.
And we've got to be here for each other. We really
Absolutely.
do.
Well, until next time, I'm Jeff Young.
I'm Bobby Lambert.
And this is That Band Life. Thanks for being here.